Joseph isn't speaking to the brothers because he's dissing them. He thinks that they should serve him. And the brothers don't speak to Joseph because they think he's haughty and he's arrogant and he's got pipe dreams of superiority. It sounds very, very much like what's going on in the Knesset, what's going on in the streets of Israel. And it's time for a true change of perspective. In this parsha, Jacob favors his beloved son Joseph, makes for him a coat of many colors, bringing out the jealousy and the frustrations of the 10 older brothers. They were jealous of him, of his position of love with his father, and they hated him. Not on the same level, their hatred was not equal, but they all hated him. They all resented him and hated him. And Joseph did everything he could to make that hatred even worse. Talked bad about them, told them his dreams of grandeur, how he was going to be superior to them, and they were going to bow down to him, whether they liked it or not. And all of that fanned the flames of jealousy, anger, frustration, hatred, until they were ready to kill their own brother, their own flesh and blood. 17-year-old boy, ready to kill him. Only by the divine intervention did Reuven stop them from killing him, and Yehuda finally saved him from the pit where he would have died of thirst or been bitten by some snake. So that saved him, but then he was sold as a slave to Egypt. And as he's sold as a slave in Egypt, he becomes the manager of the house of the chief executioner of Egypt. And somehow or other, God favors him, and he's successful wherever he goes. And whatever he does, it's always successful. You got to ask yourself, how long was he in the house of Potiphar, the executioner? The answer is 12 years. Maybe a little bit less, but 12 years. How long was he the manager? Probably most of those 12 years. I would say 12 years minus 30 days. In that case, he's the manager of an estate that is second only to Pharaoh's. They got all these visitors coming in trying to sell Potiphar goods because Potiphar's a rich man. And I'm sure that there were merchants from the area around Hebron where Jacob lived. Couldn't Joseph send a letter, cuneiform letter, to his father? Why didn't he send a letter to his father? Or least regards. And there are two opinions. One opinion is that there was a ban, the heavenly ban that the brothers had imposed, that no one should reveal what had happened to Joseph, and they also included God in the ban, and God wasn't able to reveal it either. So how could Joseph reveal it? Well, I don't know if Joseph, if he reveals it by a indirect method, whether that would be covered by the ban. Secondly, Joseph didn't have to listen. You have all kinds of issues there, but why couldn't there be some way of dropping hints to Jacob that Joseph was still alive? Why was it necessary to hide all of that? The second approach that I heard was that Joseph was fearful that they would come and kill him, finish the job. Well, maybe that works when he's in the house of Potiphar. When he's in the house of Potiphar, maybe they can come and kill him, but not when he's viceroy. He was viceroy for 9 years before he sends for his father. 9 years he's the most powerful man in the world. 9 years he's the most powerful man in the world, and he doesn't want to send a letter to his father? Doesn't have it in him to send a message? The answer that I have for that is totally different. Yosef was resentful that his father made him into the goody-goody, the teacher's pet. Yosef felt that his father caused the animosity of his brothers and blamed his father more than he blamed his brothers. And as a result of that, wanted nothing to do with the family. Felt that the family was a bunch of misfits, a bunch of people who didn't understand how to deal with life. And he wanted nothing to do with them. He wanted to start a life all by himself. And that's why he called his oldest son Menashe, for God has made me forget my entire father's household. I've forgotten. I don't want to know them. And then God has made me successful. Ephraim, Ephrani, God has made me fruitful. Why did Jacob do it? Jacob did it because Jacob suffered. He was the good child, and Esau was the bad child, and Yitzchak favored the bad child because he had to wipe up his messes. So Jacob decided he wasn't going to do that. He was going to reward goodness. And Joseph was the best of the kids. The nicest looking, but he also was the best kid, his best student, best behaved, most organized, most successful. Why shouldn't he reward success and good character? And the answer is, those are superficial things. You really don't know the true character of a person till he's grown up to become an adult. You can give a child a small reward, but not a big reward to distinguish between him and others. You have to make sure that the family's together, that all the kids are together. And don't go ahead and praise just one child and not praise the others. Even when you're singling out one child for getting the best marks, being the valedictorian, you still have to find a reason to praise the other children. And that's what Jacob was missing. Jacob missed that, misunderstood that. That you never know the true character of people till they get older, number one. And number two, all children need praise. All children should be singled out for their personal achievements, no matter how small. And we'll continue with that theme. The most important element is, even if you're successful, and even if you're talented, and even if you're good looking, and even if people love you, remember, you're only one person. You need to have the cooperation of others. And as such, you have to show respect to all of them.